bad news, no mail today. So I figure, you know, we'll still post a video anyway. And so I broke out my box here of some of my larger signed items. A lot of photos in there. It's pretty much about all I ever do besides cards. Some photos, once in a great while, like, you know, baseballs, hockey pucks, but those are incredibly rare. I'll probably do another video of those at some point. But right now, figure, you know, let's break out the photo box and start showing off a few of those. So this one is, most of these I got in person, I'll say, and most of them are on 11 by 14 photos. For me, those ones are just a lot easier to transport than like a 16 by 20, but it also gives you, you know, something, to me, that's better looking than just an 8 by 10. So got a whole stack of them here. I'll just go through like some of my more favorite ones out of all those, but I showed this one off first. It's actually just it's a signed album, and there's this great band called the New Bomb Turks. They're a garage punk band from Columbus, Ohio. Actually, all of their members are from Cleveland originally, and then they all met in Columbus, but that's beside the point. If it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have the garage rock revival of the late 90s to early 2000s. I mean, you wouldn't have, like, the Strokes, the Hives, the White Stripes, the Black Keys. So many bands like that really were heavily influenced by this band, especially this particular album. Their debut was Destroy Oh Boy. There we go. But as you can see up near the top, I've got signed by one member here and one member down here. This one is guitarist Jim Weber, and over here is the lead singer Eric Davidson. Got those signed at a concert, well, two concerts actually, one in Chicago, one in Detroit, back around Thanksgiving of 2019. I've been wanting to see those guys play forever, and I've never had a chance to, and then we find that they're opening for Reverend Horton Heat, who my wife and I absolutely love, and so we're like, all right, we can do Thanksgiving with my wife's cousin up in Chicago. We can go and see my uncle in Michigan and pick up a guitar from him and see both those shows, just do this whole big, long trip like that. And so we did, and got the album signed by two members of the band. I got to get the other guys on it at some point. Just barely missed out on bass player Matt Reber, and drummer Sam Brown was not on this album, but plays for them now. The original drummer was, what, Bill Rant, was it? Yeah, Bill Rant was the original drummer, and I do at least have one of Sam Brown's concert-used drumsticks from the Detroit show there, but that's about it. But still, I mean, having those and 2 out of 4 autographs, I mean, I'll take that. That's a pretty good good start, at least. I can get the others on it eventually, I hope. So, like I said, got a bunch of 11 by 14s on here. I don't do a whole lot of MMA collecting, but once in a while, if there's somebody that I'm a fan of, I'll go for them. So, like, I have a couple of signed photos, but this is the only one. I actually got this one by mail. But Ronda Rousey signed that one. Try to get this tilted just right without any glare coming off of it. You're seeing my computer screen very clearly there. But as you can see, personalized there with the personalization looped and definitely signed by somebody else. But you know what? I'll take it. It's a signature from her. I'm perfectly happy with it. I don't do a whole lot of basketball collecting at all, but at the 2018, National, they had a couple of free signers. They have free signers there every year, if you don't know about it, with the VIP pass. But, so what we did was, my friend Aaron and I both got VIP passes. We got one of them with the all-access pass as well, so we got moved to the front of every autograph line. But Calvin Murphy, Basketball Hall of Famer, was one of the signers they had there for the one of the freebies. And so, printed up this photo of him playing at Niagara, got that one signed. As you can see, he added his Hall of Fame year there with it as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge basketball collector. I mean, look at me, I'm about 5'8". I have a negative vertical leap, I'm pretty sure, last time I checked. So, yeah, I don't collect a whole lot of it. Not a huge fan of it, but you know what? Give me a Hall of Famer for free. I will gladly take it. And hey, the photo came out great, so definitely like that one. Let's see. This one's one that I got done in person. I got my start really doing a lot of hockey graphing, and so I still try to do it whenever I can now. I can't really do it as much in Dallas. The main hotel the teams stay at is totally off limits to collectors, or at least was for a long time. I've heard that it's cleared up now, but I've just been out of it so long I've really kind of lost interest in it. I don't really even follow the sport that closely anymore. But when I first moved down here, they did have the Stars training camp every year in Fort Worth at the Fort Worth Convention Center. Big arena in there. They would, freeze it over and run the training camp in there. But unfortunately, they only did it for, I think, like 2 or 3 years when I first came down here. So 2013, 2014, maybe 2015. I can't remember now, but I think it would have been 2015 as well. But anyways, got this photo done. It has the Stars Olympians all on it. Got it signed by all 4 on there. That's Coach Lindy Ruff, along with Jamie Benn, goalie Kari Lehtinen, and Valerie Nichushkin there for the Russian team. All signed in black. I want to keep it uniform on there. And Jamie Benn had this thing for quite a while, and he may still have it where he will not sign in blue. Kind of weird, but supposedly Tyler Seguin got into his head and a couple other people that, oh yeah, if you're signing, if they're wanting you to sign in blue, they're going to sell it or some crap like that. But yeah, I mean, clearly I've had this thing for at least 5 years and it hasn't gotten sold. So yeah, not quite. But yeah, it got signed by all 4 of the people who played in the Olympics that particular year. It was what, 2014 Olympics? Yeah, we've been in 2014 Olympics, so I think this would have been 2014 training camp that I got that one signed. Let's see, another one. This one's a fun one because I did the Photoshop work on this one and then got it signed by both guys. But Antoine Roussel and Travis Moen. Found that fight shot and it's like, all right, I can definitely isolate that, you know, keep the players in color, put the background in black and white, fade it down a little bit. And the autographs come out great on it. I mean, Roussel was the first to sign it. Stars later acquired Travis Moen. It's like, well, perfect. I can get him on that easily. So got both of them eventually to sign it, and definitely one of my favorite pieces that I've gotten done. Partially because of the work I put in on it, partially because, I mean, it's an awesome fight shot with 2 SIGs on it. I'll gladly take that. Little Hockey Hall of Fame action here, too. Like I said, 11 by 14s are a little bit easier to mail than like a 16 by 20 just because they're a little bit more manageable in size. You can actually get photo mailers for these for the return trip and then just get a slightly bigger bubble mailer for the trip out. And so I tried, well, I actually printed up a bunch of Florida Panthers photos. So I was going to go for them because they were at an easier hotel. And then last second, nope, they changed up to the impossible one. So it's like, well, great. Here I sit with, you know, 15 or 20 Florida Panthers photos and nothing to do with the things. So figuring, you know what? Let's just take a chance, throw caution to the wind. Even if I get at least one back out of these, you know, 15 or 20, that's pretty good then. And I think I got, what, 2 of them, 3 of them, something like that. It wasn't very many. It was 3 of them, I think, that I got back total. But hey, it was 3 of the bigger names, and this was one of them. It's actually their broadcaster and Hockey Hall of Famer, Dennis Potvin. Personalized, of course, on the side there to Drew. What, to Drew? Yeah, to Drew, best always, Dennis Potvin, Hall of Fame 91. Really cool getting that one. I mean, Potvin's one of the greatest defensemen of all time in the NHL, so I've gotten him on cards before in person, but he's never really been a good signer by mail. So to be able to get that one back was a big surprise for me and just, yeah, a huge hit for my collection right there. Loved getting that one back, so yeah. Let's see, here's another one of those Florida Panthers mailouts, that is Roberto Luongo. Gotten him in person a number of times as well, but he's actually been a fairly reliable signer lately. I think he signs through his home address. Not sure how he is on cards. I know for a while he was signing, you know, 2 cards per request with no problem. He may still be signing. I'm not sure. I haven't really looked into it at all, but hey, I got my photo done there. I've gotten a few cards done by him over time. I'm pretty much set on him, I think, unless I feel like sending some more cards out, which, I'm good. Let's see here. Kari Lehtinen, that's just an awesome photo right there. Found that one. It's like, yeah, we're going to definitely get that one done. Lehtinen's one of the best in-person signers that the Stars have ever had in their history, so needless to say, I've probably got, God, how many? At least 5 signed photos, probably about 20 signed cards from over time, a couple pucks. He's Finnish, I'm half Finnish. I've got to be a fan of his, so yeah, got a whole bunch there from him. Let's see here. Moving right along. Try to keep it to some. Okay, yeah, this one's kind of a cool one. This was Jiri Jokipakka playing for his team in Finland. Like I said, being half Finnish, I'm always looking for photos of the Finns. Okay, here's another one that I did some of the Photoshop work on and mailed off and had to come back. It took a couple of years, actually, but sent, I think, to his home address while he was playing for the Panthers, and a while later got it back, and it's another Finn. This one, Jussi Jokinen of the Penguins, just after scoring a goal against the Capitals. Close up there on the autograph if I can. There we go. Tilt it a little bit. I mentioned that I've gotten several Stars players over time at their training camps. I've got one here of Eric Cole. And also, who was this one? Jack Campbell. Got a little bit of help on the Campbell one. I had a bunch of cards of him as well that I was trying to help out a few other friends and collectors with, and so I got all the cards done. Had a friend of mine said, "Hey, you want me to get that one?" And I'm like, "Yes, please, if you don't mind." So got that knocked out. Campbell got traded a couple years later. I think last time I saw he was with the Kings, I want to say. I'm gonna have to look him up now real quick. That's the last I had heard, was that he was in the Kings organization. With the Maple Leafs now. Okay, so again, that just shows how closely I've been following hockey lately. I had no idea that he was with Toronto now. So bounced around a little bit. Hopefully he's able to get on somewhere, though. Good kid. Another Finn right here with Alexander Barkov. Barkov, Russian background, but born and raised in Finland, so he gets to play for their national team. Great player. And quick responder by mail. I think that took me maybe 2 weeks or so on the turnaround with it, so pretty quick response there from one of the top players. He played in a couple of All-Star games. You're going to hear his name for quite a bit. I mean, probably another at least 10 to 15 years or so. Let's see here. Some more stuff from the National a few years ago. Find what I want to go with. Two different photos of Billy Sims, former Heisman winner. This one actually got the 2014 National. I remember what order I've got all these in and keep them all in the same direction. So yeah, as you can see, we're getting into the football now, kind of going in reverse order. So we'll have football here, and then I think we've just got some baseball ones after the football, but hopefully I have some cool stuff here to show off in the football. Got a Cody Rising. This one I got signed at a Cleveland Browns backers event. Found the Pro Bowl photo of him and did, the same treatment there with the gray background and colorizing the photo. Added in the name and I put team name, position, jersey number down there as well, and he added jersey number and the years he played for the Browns there. It's kind of cool. Drove down to the Browns backers event in Houston when the Browns and Texans played a couple years ago. So they had him and Gerald McNeil, Ice Cube, both signing there. I think the next one up is one that I definitely want to show off, if it's the one I'm thinking of, if I have it in the right order. And yes, it is. So you may know that I was raised in Cleveland, Ohio. Huge fan of the Indians, unfortunately the Browns, Cavs, Pittsburgh Penguins, they're the closest NHL team to me. But so I've lived through a lot of really, really, really bad football. I mean, the first year that I really followed any kind of football was 1990, and the Browns went 3-13. That should have been a warning to me, and I did not heed that warning. So 1993, the Browns are finally starting to get kind of good once again, and they had this battle at home against the Steelers, and early on in the game, Eric Metcalf runs back this punt, I think it was 75 yards for the first one on for a touchdown. They're battling back. They're down late. Vinny Testaverde ends up separating his shoulder on a hit. So Bernie Kosar has to come in the game. Browns defense gets a nice stop, and so they're about to get the ball back, and Eric Metcalf lines up and drops back to receive the punt.
More drama, more storylines in a Broadway play. Royals with a punt. Eric Metcalf has already taken 191 yards for a score. He has this one at the 25. Metcalf to the outside with room. Metcalf at midfield. Metcalf cuts back. He's still on his feet. Metcalf will go for the score. Unbelievable.
90-yard run back gives the Browns the lead. They hold on to win. And I mean, my dad, who is, 100% Finnish, not exactly super emotional, even he's jumping up and down going, look at him go, as he's running this touchdown back. And so I was able to find this photo, and it took a little bit of hunting to find it big enough. But I eventually got it signed and, or got it printed off and sent off to Metcalf there, but it's Metcalf leaping over the last defender on that last touchdown run back. And so being able to find that photo, it's like, okay, yeah, got to get that one signed. And yeah, send it off to him. He's up in Washington State now, actually, near the Seattle area. But yeah, signed it real quick. He actually signed 2 copies. I gave one to a friend of mine who's another big Browns fan. But then Then here's one I actually got from Metcalf in person, also running back a touchdown against the Bills. But as you can see, you know, in-person auto compared to the TTM auto, they're the same. So, spin that around. All right, what else we got in this pile here? There's the Ice Cube McNeil one that I mentioned earlier there when I turned off Cody Rison. Yeah, I'll show off Kevin Mack real quick there. I want to get this one signed by Ernest Biner if I can, too. Biner's right here. And Biner signs by mail, so I might try sending it off to him. I think he does it in exchange for a small donation to a charity that he runs that's dedicated to getting service dogs to people. So might try sending off to him and get that one done at some point here soon. Oh, let's see if we can get this last batch up and out of here. Photos are surprisingly heavy once you put them into all these top loaders. Wow. Trying to make sure my box doesn't flip over, and I don't think that's going to work, so just have to have them sitting here. All right, there we go. Hope this doesn't bounce around too much there on the camera, but let's see here. There's another one that I need to get a second one on. Got Hanford Dixon on it in person. This is at the 2014 National. He's here with Frank Minifield on it. Mini, kind of tough to find. I think he lives in Louisville now, but I have not heard of him signing in person in a while. Zoom in there on the SIG from Hanford Dixon. There we go. Trying to work with this reflection is a little bit tough. But I'd like to see if I can find Minifield at some point, get him on that. Just to finish the duel off. Those are always fun. Let's see. A couple Bengals, Browns, Ross Browner. All right, yeah, and I'll get into the baseball stuff here now, since I've been on the football for a while. So, work our way backwards again. It's kind of reverse. I think I've got them all in alphabetical order, but we're going in reverse, so starting from the back and going to the front there. But this one was another one from the 2018 National. I love the fact that he gave such a freaking massive signature on it, but Luis Tiant was one of the signers on the very first day. As you can see, I mean, that signature takes up the entire width of the photo. I mean, you'll be able to spot this one from across a room, just about. So, really cool to get that one. It's actually the second time I've gotten Tiant in person. Back in 2005, opening day, Fenway Park, he was outside and hanging out there with the crowd, and I got him on a couple balls, and not sure what happened to them. I was in the middle of a lot of moving at that time. I mean, I bounced in the span of a year from Boston to Cleveland, back to Boston, back to Cleveland, down to Wichita Falls, Texas. And somewhere in there, it probably got stuffed into a box, and I don't know where they are now. But either way, got the photo. I've got them on a card. I'm good with those. Set card at that. Let's see. All right, this one's a fun one here. This is Ryan Rua played a couple seasons with the Rangers recently. Out of baseball now. I'm not sure if he's going to have much of a shot at any point. I'm kind of surprised he didn't go to one of the indie leagues or something like that. But Rua is from Northeast Ohio as well, where I, spent most of the first 20 years of my life. But he went to Lake Erie College, and Lake Erie College is located in the town of Painesville, where I grew up. And it was a women's-only college up until about the mid-1980s or so, and then went co-ed. So they didn't really have any men's sports that were worth much of anything until well into the 90s. They eventually got a baseball team. They finally have a football team now as well. They're always more into basketball. What else? Volleyball was really big there, but baseball, they finally got their first ever pro player, and it was Ryan Rua. And so when I got him out at the Rangers players parking lot, I asked him, hey, would you mind putting first MLB player from Lake Erie College on there? And so, as you can see, that is exactly what he added on to it. So that's been really cool, because the building that I actually went to school from pre-kindergarten through 8th grade in is now owned by Lake Erie College. So, yeah, kind of a cool connection right there between me and him. Let's see here. We've got Jose Rijo. We've got Rico Petrocelli. He was another one who was at the National in 2018. Who we got here? Al Oliver was a 2014 show. Dale Murphy. I love this Dale Murphy one. Murph was great autograph guest there, and yeah, I mean, he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever find in baseball. I've gotten him by mail once before on 3 set cards that I had. That was back when he was still signing. He doesn't sign as much by mail now. He's once in a great while you might see a success from him, but it's not very often. So to be able to add this one on this kind of metallic finish 11 by 14 was really great to be able to put that into the collection as well. And that one, in hindsight, if I had thought about it, if I'd known about how to do it really back then very effectively, I would have done that same treatment with the kind of gray out the background there, keep the body in color, and I think the autograph would have shown up even better on that. But hey, I like the way it turned out there just fine. Mitch Moreland, Randy Jones, Greg Jeffries, Levon Hernandez, the bane of my existence as a Cleveland fan. He 97 World Series MVP. Of course, they beat the Indians in that, but here's one of the signers at the National in 2018. Sign it down in the corner there as well, and you can see got the certification there on it as well. One of the great things with that Super VIP All Access package, we got several authentications we could use on autographs there. So I figured, you know what, use on that one, might use on a couple of them, and yeah, I think I got what, my Charles White one. I think I got certified there as well. So yeah, Levon Hernandez helped ruin my childhood. Let's see who else we got here. Tommy Helms, is that Matt Harrison, Mike Hargrove. Grover actually told me that he had never seen this photo before when I had him sign it. That was at the 2014 show. He was at the 2014 and 2018 show. 2018, I had him add human rain delay there on it as well. All right, who else we got in here? Joey Gallo. Got that one signed outside of a Frisco Rough Riders game back when he was still in AA ball. Closer view on that. Starting to get heavy on this pile here. We'll take care of that later, I guess. Oh, I've got just enough room to put these in. Move it around if I need to a little bit. There we go. All right, who else we got in here? Delino DeShields Jr. Love that photo. Just avoiding the tag, and then he signed it in a great spot there, right on the dust cloud, so it shows up real nicely. Marty Cordova. Shin-Soo Choo with the Tribe. One of the things I always like about Choo was that he actually went to the Indians front office and said, hey, look, you're not going to be able to afford to re-sign me at all. I know you guys are rebuilding. Trade me now, please. Let me, make sure you get something in return for me. And so the Indians did exactly that, and that's how they got Trevor Bauer. But after getting traded, Choo took out a full-page ad in the Cleveland Plain Dealer to say, hey, fans, thanks for the support all this time. It's been great playing here, all that kind of stuff. And so he's kind of the anti-LeBron for Cleveland. And I actually got to talk to him a couple times with the Rangers there about that and thank him for doing that, because he didn't have to do that, and nobody has to do that, and he did it anyway, so good on him. All right, who else we got here? There's Robinson Chirinos, a couple of Joe Charbonneaus in there. Gotta show those off, since I know Joe Charbonneau's gotten mentioned a few times in the comments on my videos there, but got this one at the 2018 National. And this one was at the 2014 National. Also on one of those metallic finish ones. You kind of see a little bit better, possibly close up. Not really sure if that helps it or not, but yeah, in person at least it looks pretty cool. I put kind of a little bit of an HDR effect on it as well, but yeah, got both of those ones signed by Joe up there. What else did I get him on? I've gotten him, he was actually one of the first two autographs I ever got in my collection. If you go back to 1991, not sure if I got him first or if I got Mark Lewis first. Mark Lewis I got at a ball game, and Joe Charbonneau I got at a card show in Mentor, Ohio. Both of them were in kind of the summer of 91 there, but I'm not sure which one came first. So among the first two in my collection there, at least. I'll show that one off later. It's somewhere in another box over there. Who else we got? Okay, this was a fun one too, because this one kind of got divided among the 2014 National and at the end of the 2014 season. Got this photo because I needed a photo of Jeff Burrows, and a friend of mine says, hey, I've got this really great one, and passed on to me. It was Jeff Burrows, Tom Grieve, and God, who's the other one? Was Larry Bittner was the other one that was in it. Well, at the time, Bittner hadn't signed by mail at all in years. He didn't do any Rangers alumni events because he doesn't live around here at all, so I rotated it and cropped it out so it was just Burroughs and Grieve, but got Burroughs at the National and Grieve after a Rangers game, or possibly at one of the Rangers Toy Drive events. But either way, got it signed by both of them, and then of course what happens right after that, Bittner starts signing by mail. It's like, yeah, I should have just printed the whole thing there and kept it rotated there, but yeah, maybe at some point eventually I'll go for the full photo. Grieve, at the very least, is an awesome signer. Every time that he's driving into the ballpark, if there's people waiting there by the entrance, he'd roll down his window, "Hey guys, how you doing?" Stop and sign, whatever. So I've gotten him a bunch of times. Very easy to get. Does all the alumni all the alumni events, all the toy drives every year, a lot of the winter caravan events. He is always out there. I mean, he's not known as Mr. Ranger for nothing. So there you go. Who else? We got Steve Buechele, Tom Browning. Two different perfect game photos for Tom Browning. This one was at the 2014 National. Got the silver signature right there. And this one from the 2018 National. Blue signature right down on the turf. I also have a ball signed by him and one other person that I will be mentioning in a bit. He's got photos coming up, so we'll hold off on that for a moment, and we'll show that ball off a little later on at some point. And actually, he's going to be the next one coming up here, and that is Mr. Len Barker. This one was from the 2018 show. There. Or was that? No, that's the 2014 show. This one was the 2018 show. The 2014 show, I got I had an extra ticket for Browning, so I figured, you know what, I'm going to see if I can find a baseball somewhere. So I grabbed a ball for like $15 at one of the dealer's tables and had him sign it side panel. So we've got side panel there with Tom Browning, date of his perfect game. And I got the other side panel with Len Barker, his perfect game. But those are the only two pitchers to throw a perfect game in the state of Ohio after World War I. Addie Joss would be the only other one to throw one at all. And of course, I mean, he died in what, 1912, 1914, something like that, years ago. There's only two potential autographs of his known to even exist anywhere. And even those are highly disputed. So no one really knows if there's a ball signed by Addie Joss out there at all or not. So getting those two on one together, as far as I'm concerned, that's complete. And let's see what else we got. Yeah, last two here, we've got Jorge Alfaro, which, yeah, no one really is going to care much about him. But Carlos Baerga. There's another one I got with one of those metallic finishes on it. One of my favorite players when I was a kid. I played, back when I played Little League ball, I mostly played second base and catcher. And so Carlos Baerga was obviously one of my favorites as the Indians' second baseman. So there you go. Just some random stuff out of my collection here to fill in a half hour since I didn't get anything in the mailbox today. It's always fun showing those things off, and hopefully I'll have more to add to those. Planning on going to the 2022 National again up in Cleveland. I might even try to hit this year's one for a couple days. They're having it out in Atlantic City this year. They had to move it back from the summer back to December. But as long as everything stays calm by December, I found a good flight. I can go up there for the weekend of the show, just, hit the fly-in Friday, see the Saturday and Sunday of it, maybe part of Monday as well, and fly out late on Monday, and not really have to burn a whole lot of vacation time or anything. So, probably won't be able to get any autographs there, because I'm not going to get the VIP pass, but at the very least, maybe I'll have a chance to add some more to it then, if not 2022. Hopefully I have some opportunities in between there as well. I've got a few unsigned ones sitting over there that I can mail out to a few guys, but we'll see about that. It costs a little extra on postage and all that. So, hey, once again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking this out and bearing with me here on a mail-less day. Make sure to check out sportscardforum.com for all sorts of great info on autograph collecting, especially by mail.